Welcome to the top of the morning show. It's your girl TT from the D, and it is Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. We are finally at Hump Day, and there is so much going on around the world. So many different podcast shows that you could have tapped into and logged on this morning, but you chose to rise and shine with your girl TT from the D, and I am super excited. This morning topic could be a little heavy for some people. Insensitivity and sensitivity. What's the difference? You might be like, wait, what is the difference between the two? Well, I could simply say it's the way people be acting, but we're not gonna say that, right? We're not gonna go in there and just kind of unfold it or unpack it, I should say. But we do want to know the difference between sensitivity versus insensitivity. Think about this. Insensitivity is someone telling you something at the wrong time when they could have been told you something, right? So let's just say, what's a good example? Because there's so many to choose from. Okay. You see your girl. Ladies, y'all know we famous for this. Fellas normally be like, well, that's I ain't got nothing to do with it. But us, some of us, not all of us, some would differ this, okay? And that's a whole nother podcast show. Some of us, if you're out and you see your homegirl dude out with another young lady, now we gonna check to make sure this could be a sister, a cousin, a coworker, you know what I mean, a neighbor. It just friendly. The person could be over friendly, you know. You also have some men that are flirtatious but harmless, if that makes sense. Some of y'all might be like, right, no, ain't no sensitivity. They ain't gonna be. Okay, yep. Sometimes it's very, very neutral, and it's nothing really intended, right? But if you see your homegirl dude out with someone, and you've checked all of that, and you realize like, oh no, like she kissing all on his neck, or they ain't kissed, they had a passionate hug, and his hand is roaming her body, and you like, whoa, hold up, that's not so and so, but that's so and so. Would you walk over to them, and approach them? And if you would, what would you say? And then, what do you think he could possibly say? Now, that's something to ponder on. Some of you might say, girl, I already done that, TT. Let me tell you what happened. I know that is my truth because I've done that. I've done that. I've literally been somewhere, saw my homegirl dude out with someone, and I was very sure that this was not my homegirl. I also was very sure that this was not a coworker. This was not a bartender, a waitress, a cousin, a sister. This wasn't extended family. Nah. Because the way they was cozying up and smooching and drinking, I was like, yeah, I was clear. I made sure I was clear. And I did go up and approach the person. And I spoke. I was not over there ratchet, okay? I was like, hey, so-and-so. How you doing? Well, where's so-and-so? Asking about my homegirl. Oh, she probably at home. Oh, okay. All right, how you doing? Addressing the girl. I'm fine. Oh, okay. I'm like, all right, well, I'm about to call her, let her know I ran into you. And walked off. As I proceeded to call my homegirl, I looked back because I'm like, nah. I let you know I was getting ready to call her. Some people might say, no, you shouldn't do that. Some people might say, you being insensitive, right? Because I'm giving information at the wrong time. But would it be me being sensitive to say, this is going to probably upset my homegirl or break her heart, but let me keep this a secret? I don't want to say nothing. I'm not going to be the reason why. Because a lot of times I've seen it. It has happened to me too. You give this information not to be malice, but because we don't want to see nobody out here hurt. We don't want to see people breaking hearts, right? Especially when you're a whole adult. So you would think people will say, well, you know what? Hey, do the right thing, brother. Do the right thing, sister. You ain't got to worry about that kind of stuff. But when they choose not to do the right thing and you out in the open like, I don't give a hoot nanny, it's fair game, right? And you basically saying, I don't care if he know or she know or they know. I don't care. And you like, oh, okay. Would you say that was being insensitive if I told that, which I did? Or would you say, I wasn't being sensitive? Because sensitive to me would be the positive outcome of that whole situation. And that would mean that they would have had to be behaving civilized in public. Right? Just like if they was in private. Trusting. There are such things as platonic relationships. Yes. Men can have women as friends and women can have men as friends, but there's a barrier. There's a line that you should never cross when you're in a relationship, whether you're married or if you're in a serious relationship. Hell, even if you're seeing multiple people, there's still barriers in the line you shouldn't cross out of respect. But the difference in the right time, the wrong time, I get that in certain situations. You know, I guess that would go with the whole, you don't kick a man when the man is already down. I get you. I respect that. I understand that. You know, they ain't fell down on their luck. You know what I'm saying? They ain't just, I don't know, lost their home or lost their job. Okay, listen, they ain't just, better yet, let's say they ain't lost their job. And it's like, yeah, we get ready to go on this trip. You want to go? And it's like, now you know they ain't trying to go out of town. Now, some people out here immature, they would. But the average person not trying to go out of town and then just lost their job. Because unless you got one lined up and you lost it on purpose, or you got a plan, or you got like rainy day fund, a just in case fund, you know what I'm saying, savings account, then you're not trying to, that's just not being mature. That's being very irresponsible. So that's a very simple thing about being insensitive, or saying, here's one I think that we could relate to. Homegirl or homeboy. Let's say homeboy just broke up with his girl and you out, and you know, homeboy, when he was with homegirl, they was, you know, she really wasn't doing much, wasn't looking like much. You know how I do, but she came on the come up, right? Whoever she with now, getting her together. If you see that movie, A Good Man, that was what the story was. Shout out to Joe Smith. That was dope. Come on, Smith, dope, and the cast and crew for that. But it was kind of like that. He met a girl and he brought her up, you know, from what she was, and elevated her. You know what I'm saying? So how would you feel, you sitting there with your homeboy and then you see homegirl out with somebody, now she elevated, and you come back like, dude, you'll never guess what I just saw. Rolling in the Benz, rolling in the Denali. I'm just saying, right? Big stuff, right? Looking flat in the mud. Who? Your ex-girl. He like, what? Yeah, she was with some dude. Man, shoot, she was looking fly dog when she was with you, you know, and you know he heart sick over her. That's being insensitive. Now, being sensitive to that same situation would mean I'm gonna come back and I'm not going to devour that. But when the time is right, when I know that homeboy is over homegirl, he's moved on, and he can take that, I might be like, you know who I meant to tell you I ran into? Who? Yeah, your ex-girl. Where you see her at? Oh, I saw her at the so-and-so, and she was with so-and-so. She was looking fly dog. Oh, that's good. I'm glad. You know how dudes is. I'm glad she finally got her ass together, because, you know, she wasn't doing them when she, you know how that go. But that would be the difference between being sensitive and insensitive, right? I think we could all probably touch and agree. And then it poses the question, is insensitivity a good thing? Now, You ain't gotta believe me. You can go and do your own search. But as a personal trait, being sensitive means you take in more information from your environment and things, and you think about what you're doing. The thought process, how this is going to affect a person or people or a thing. Right? So it's kind of like, you think of, like, will this hurt a person? Will this enrage a person? You're thinking about these things. Now, when you don't care and you out here malice, you like, hey, and you just loose ship, sinking ships, because you like, I'm here for it. Because some of y'all is messy on purpose, intentionally. Some of y'all is messy, right? And I have to say, it can be dangerous, you know. And then it's all about, how do you respond to insensitivity, right? How do you respond to somebody being insensitive? People like, you had heard people having conversations and then people caught up and you be like, that was really insensitive. And then that person will, you know, they don't want to have no accountability. So they're going to be like, shh, well, they shouldn't be acting so weak or acting like a punk or ooh. And it's like, it's none of that. This person has not dealt with how they're feeling honestly or respectively for themselves. So you can't come out here telling them when they should heal. That's like telling a person when they should mourn. I think that's very insensitive when people, you see somebody out and they had lost a friend, a loved one, God forbid, a significant other or a love interest. And it could be weeks later, months later, hell, it could be years later. And you see, you know, that person and you're like, what's going on with you? What's wrong? And they start to say, well, I never quite got over so-and-so, I'm feeling. And you like, you still mourning that person? Man, what? And you looking like, how do you tell a person when it's time to heal their heart? How do you tell a person when it's time to move on? Now, that's a true case of you being insensitive. We have to learn to respect people's feelings, their emotions, and know how to humor or diffuse a humorous situation when things really aren't supposed to be funny at a certain time. And there's a time for everything. But sometimes we get the timing mixed up and messed up. And ignore what others say could be healthy, but it also could be unhealthy. Because that means you bottle in the end. And that's what's wrong with some of us. We bottle things in and we become negative. It brings a negative feeling. And it could make you sick. I know you were like, well, how'd this go? Being negative can make you sick. If you always angry and pissed, that man, you could be making your blood pressure rise up. You could cause yourself a heart attack, a stroke. My mother gets upset quite easily nowadays, and I always remind her, because my mother is elderly now. I'm like, Mama, it ain't that serious. Or you're getting yourself bent out of shape for nothing, Ma. And some people might say, okay, TT, that's being insensitive. What might seem like nothing to you may be something to your mother. I hear what y'all saying, but if you could know it's something that may not be accurate, then yeah, you're taking this out of context. This ain't even what's happening. You're getting all stressed out, and what for what? Now you're not feeling well, and for what? Right? Now, I'm going to share this with you. There are different levels of sensitivity, low, medium, and high. Okay? There's different, and then there's a few types of sensitivity. One that revolves around sensing possible threats to the ego, because we all got an ego, baby. And the other one involves depths of a person's feelings. You know, are you going to tell a person, they say, how look at this? You think, how you like this girl? Girl, you too big for that. That make you look like a Oompa Loompa. Or, man, that dog, you need to do a couple more sit-ups if you try to wear that shirt. That could hurt their ego. It could also hurt their feelings. Then you could say, well, would you rather me be honest or would you rather me tell you a lie? Right? I have this saying, I haven't had to say it in a long, long time. But when I was getting older, I used to tell people when they would ask me something that I know could potentially hurt their feelings. And I would tell people in advance, this is when you know it might be tough. So you got your own pre-warning because you know me. If you know me, then you know. You ask me something and I'm like, oh, like, for instance, let's just say the scenario I gave y'all in the beginning of the show. You out, you see your homegirl dude out with somebody, and that ain't her. And somebody told her, I think I saw your boo out with so-and-so at the so-and-so. And then they ask you, hey, weren't you at the so-and-so the other night? Yeah. Did you see so-and-so there? Now, that would pose me, if I chose to be sensitive, because I know that she's very vulnerable or whatever her, feelings are at that time, I would be sensitive with it, with my response. I would process the question. And then I would pose her with a question. So you're asking me a question, but I'm going to pose you with a question. Because this is my security blanket, if you will. Listen. Do you want to know? Do you really want to know? And then, of course, they all going to say, yes. Who going to say, no, I'm straight. I don't even want to know. No, you want to know because you asked. And then I would proceed to say what it is. Then she could be like, well, why you ain't tell me and you ain't right? Hold on and pump the brakes. Catch some air. We both know how you are. Now, depending on how you know this person is, if this person is a person like, I'm going to set it off, you ain't about to tell her that. If this person is rambunctious and out cold and just be on some, I don't give a hoot nanny, that'll snatch another broad up and a dude, you ain't about to come back and tell her that unless you messy. Because now you're putting her in harm's way. And I say that because you amping her up and giving her the fuel, the ammunition, the vehicle, the clothes, and the mask to commit this crime. Whatever that's going to look like. And you going to sit back like, I ain't had nothing to do with it. I mean, she made the decision. That was her choice. No. So then when she go off on you, rightfully so, like, why you ain't tell me? Because I know how you act. And you ain't even with that person no more. So, but here's the other caveat to that. What if she is with that person? So I wouldn't have that question posed back to me because my people know if I see you, like I want all my friends' husbands to know, and I want all my male friends' wives to know. If I see you out with someone else and it's inappropriate, I'm gonna be clear. I'm not about to be like, I saw Johnny with Tina. Okay. And what were they doing? They was having lunch. Looked like they was eating. Okay. Yeah, like, did I think I had a aha moment? No. It would be more of a, oh, I saw Johnny earlier. Oh, okay. Yeah, where you saw him at? Oh, I saw him at Red Robin. Oh, okay. Now, if she asked me, or the roles reversed, he asked me, oh, they didn't tell me they went there. Who was they there with? Oh, if I know them, oh, so and so. If I don't, I'm like, I don't know, some man or some woman. Because that would be my honest truth. And then if they get that, I'd be like, oh, okay, so let's not go there. Because it could have been a coworker, it could have been a friend. You don't know who it was. Well, they ain't tell me. I mean, is it necessary? Like, you going to lunch? Hey, you want to grab lunch? Okay, cool beans, let's go. You walking over to Panera Bread or whatever with your coworker, male or female, because we can have platonic people. You ain't got to be like, I'm just letting you know that I'm getting ready to go to Panera Bread. I don't want nobody. Really? Then you need to check your relationship. Because that ain't got nothing to do with insensitivity or sensitivity. That got to do with trust. And that's a whole nother podcast. Okay? And I don't think it's wrong either way. I think it's right either way. To be sensitive and be insensitive. And that's just me. You might be like, there should never be a time you could be insensitive. No, I don't agree with that. Now, you could say, well, you're wrong, TT, and okay, that's cool. That's cool. But you have to learn the best way to deal with people like that. And then let me tell you something. Here are some signs of insensitive people. True insensitive people. They lack affection. And they think about someone outside of themselves like a, I don't think so, right? They demean people with their comments. Sometimes they've been known to bully people. They don't care. They don't mind humiliating people. making them the butt of the jokes, right? They like to exclude people. Yeah, we all about to go to so and so, but we not about to invite her or him. Why? Did you see what they was wearing? Or look how, whatever. I don't know, whatever they would do. I'm not like that, but just, people, especially young people. Young people could be so cruel. Oh my God. But some of you old heads could be cruel too. Some of y'all grew up cruel and nobody told you and nobody checked you because you carried the spirit of who gonna check me, boo. And nobody felt like checking you. They just dealt with you. Like, if you that person that they just tolerate. You're invited, like, because you invite yourself. Like, you don't get invitations. They don't say, hey, you want to join us? And now that don't mean they don't love you. They just know, like, there's things that come along with inviting so-and-so because you know how they are, right? And so that's to each his own. That's to each his own. And so in relationships, I'm going to tell you something that I believe. It is really draining for a person that's in an emotionally insensitive relationship with somebody. Right? And it's kind of like you're emotionally detached, which makes another person perhaps be emotionally drained. It's like an emotional insensitive person displays a self-centered behavior, like his life is about them, like things revolve around them, like they're the earth or a ball. Right? They only think about how they're feeling, what they need, what they want, and they don't have no concern, really, honestly, truly, authentically for you. They avoid sharing their feelings. They keep their emotions to themselves, and they'll always hijack and say, well, I would share my feelings and my emotions, but they find a reason, and it's like, no, it's just because you just don't, right? They put up these walls and avoid sharing things. They're secretive. There's so many things with that. They lack empathy, compassion, right? Just looking like, oh, we just lost to so-and-so today. Oh, that's messed up. Hey, I was getting ready to go to so-and-so. Like, did you even take a moment to pause and console this person that just told you they lost somebody? Or they had a bad day? Oh, how your day go? You asking them, how did your day go? And they're like, oh yeah, they're running it down. Okay. They may, and I said may ask you how your day went, but they may not. And then you be sitting there looking like, do you want to hear about my day? Then they may hit you with the, oh yeah, how was your day? Like, you didn't even think about how my day went. And then you start to tell them, they all occupied, their phone ringing or text going off, they looking, oh okay. While you talking to them about your heartfelt feelings, they're not present in that conversation, right? They often believe that emotions make them weak. Like, if it's a moment where it's like, you might shed a tear, I ain't about to cry now. That's for weak people. It's like, how about a human person with a heart and feelings, right? And the list goes on and on. I could go on for days for that, but we won't, because I don't want to keep you long. I know you got a lot of things to do. This is Hump Day Wednesday. I know you got to get ready for work, or you might be driving into work at this time. But I hope that you know if you are a sensitive person or an insensitive person, or if you have a little bit of both, right? I think we all, honestly, truth be told, we all got a little bit of both. We just know when to activate it. I think part of the problem is when we don't know when to activate it, and we say things at the wrong time. We've been taught as children, there's a place and time for everything, right? I feel like it ain't the place and time when your child out of order, you gonna beat them on the spot. 9 times out of 10, somebody about to call the police, because you can't beat Johnny like that. Oh my God, did you see how she just slapped him? I'm calling the police. And the police, they pulling up. Yeah, we understand that you slapped your child. You hemmed up your son. You hemmed up your daughter. Did they tell you they was getting ready to steal something out that store? I'm hypothetically talking now. And I snatched them up because I said, why would you put yourself in a position? Because perhaps they didn't know that was stealing. Perhaps they didn't know that would get them in a heap of trouble. So I hemmed them up so you don't have to cuff them up in the future, to let them know that this was wrong. This is not now let me tell you, we don't take. No, because I know I've told you better and I taught you better. So I'm trying to prevent them ever coming into contact with you by parenting. right? Get them all the way together, wrangle them up. And then for the people that want to go off, that's why they can't control what's going on in their life, because they're busy controlling and trying to intervene in other people's lives. And that's a whole nother podcast too. That's a whole nother show, like parenting tips, right? To spank or not to spank. Spare the ride or not. I believe I ain't sparing the ride. I'm not going to beat you, but I'm going to let you know this ain't what you want to play with. Do the right thing so you can have a happy life. Right? So anyway, that's another show too. Tune in tomorrow. Check me out actually tomorrow, Thursday, on a dope podcast show. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow morning, right? 7 o'clock. Clear your calendars if you can. If not, when you're free, I want you to chime in. I want you to listen to the show because I know it's going to be interesting. I'm super excited about it. This young lady, Sunshine, she's just so positive. She's just a great person to be around. The energy she gives is just like really, really vibrant. She's upbeat, always inspiring and motivating, and always trying to help others. And I'm just excited to be on her show. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I'm for it, and I'm going to be there for it. So that's tomorrow. And don't forget, if you are a nonprofit organization founder, CEO, the application closes Friday for the Michigan Nonprofit Campaign. There's $35 million in that funding, and they want to give it to nonprofit organization founders in Michigan. So this is for all my Michiganders. Don't miss out on the opportunity, because you won't have an opportunity to say, well, ain't nobody giving out money. I'm going to remind you, did you apply? If you qualify and you didn't apply, I don't got nothing for you. If you don't qualify and you want to apply but you can't, I got prayers for you. And I know that God will make a way for your organization to be successful. You just got to wait, because there's timing to everything that's going to be great. That's all I got for you this morning. Enjoy the rest of your Hump Day Wednesday, and don't work too hard. I'll see you soon.